You look different.
Am I even supposed to be here? I don't think I'm even allowed to be here. Someone's getting in trouble, and I don't think it's going to be me. But I am happy to be here.
Your hair looks longer.
It is longer, and it's going to be very short here momentarily. I was talked into shaving it all off and donating it for wigs for kids that are going through chemotherapy.
That was awesome.
Yeah, so my co-host on the morning show, he lost a friend 10 years ago when he was just out of high school. And in honor of the 10 year, we're going to shave our heads together. And yeah, so say bye-bye. It's all going away. I'm taking the eyebrows off, too. I'm going to look like Neo from The Matrix.
What of the beard?
Gone.
Mustache?
All of it. Gone.
You're like Mr. Clean, like a bowling ball.
Starting fresh. I'm honestly nervous AF that I'm going to, it's just all going to come back gray or white. Like, that's it. Like, this is my last kick at the cat to have brown hair, and then it's all old man from here on in.
You can add some, like, salt and pepper, a touch of gray, a little dye.
Yeah, I mean, it's been slowly getting there, but I just think it's going to be like, all right, fine, we're all coming in gray now. We'll see.
If you recognize that voice, I am thrilled, with absolute glowing pleasure, to say my interview today, my guest.
This is a one-off.
It's a one-off.
This is just a one-off. Don't get used to this. It's just one and done.
He is good looking. He slices and dices up the city of Winnipeg. He's been home for over 21 years here, specifically last year here at the Energy 106 studio at the Polo Park, at the not too far away from the Forks downtown Winnipeg, between the Red Assiniboine and the Seine River.
Yeah, sure.
Seine?
Assiniboine in the Red, predominantly, yeah.
He has had the top morning radio show in the city for well over 20 years. Good personal friend of mine, more importantly. Father of two.
Yep.
Husband of one.
Yep.
His name is David J. Wheeler.
Welcome home, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's good to be back with you.
How was the train ride?
We're going to start with that?
How was the train ride?
The train ride was awesome.
Yeah?
The train's always awesome. Leaving Vancouver on a Monday, the train follows the Fraser River all the way northeast into...
Relative of mine, by the way.
Who? Fraser?
Simon Fraser, yeah.
You related to him?
He is in my bloodline.
You kind of look like him now.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I look a little more alive than him, but yeah.
I don't know if it was him. It was one of the explorers. It might have been Hudson. It might have been Simon Fraser. But one of them, they were trekking west, and a pack of grizzly bears stopped the Native Americans from hunting them down, which is bought them enough time to map the rest of the west of the Fraser Canyon all the way that way.
I thought you were about to recount the time Leo DiCaprio ran into a grizzly bear.
No. That's an amazing movie.
Incredible movie. Guy gets absolutely trounced by a bear and doesn't win an Oscar for it.
He's winning. He's still dating women under 25.
Him and Jaromir Jagr, they should hang out more.
I didn't tell my girl. We'll get to that later on. But
by the way, while we're on the trains, and I want to hear the story, but I'm really excited, and you should be too. Your home province of Manitoba announced that through federal and provincial money, they're going to be putting just shy of about $100 million into the rail going up to Churchill and up towards Hudson's Bay. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, which gives me pause to think that maybe these conversations about reopening in the Northwest Passage might actually happen.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Very exciting.
That's really exciting because you can only get in there by train or by flying Calm Air, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the tracks washed away a couple of years ago, and then everything got really expensive, and they're back in place. Get some more money. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
And those upgrades to Union Station?
Yeah, that's going in as well. I think all this talk about the silica mines that are coming in and these lithium mines that are coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a betting person, bet on the province of Manitoba over the next 10 to 20.
I was actually thinking this on the drive to the studio to come meet you today is Winnipeg better than Saskatoon or Regina? And I would answer no, but the potential is outrageous. It's out of the stratosphere with the potential for the city over the next 10 years.
100%. I mean, keep in mind, we are a coastal province. And I always say this about, and you got to keep in mind that for those American listeners, we have a rivalry with our neighboring province of Saskatchewan with our football. But I mean, truthfully, we're both prairie. We're both flyover states, is what they would call them down in the States. But we... population's about the same, geography is about the same, and we like to rib each other and whatnot and have jokes back and forth. But I've always said this about Saskatoon. Saskatoon is one of the cleanest cities in all of Canada. Like, it's an incredible city. People love Saskatoon. Saskatoon and Regina are about the same population. They're about 300,000 each. But Saskatoon is like that when you go to a party and people are like, oh my God, is Saskatoon going to be here? Love that person. Oh my God, Saskatoon's amazing. I really hope they don't bring their brother Regina. That guy is a dick. And Regina is just like even people in Saskatoon don't like people in Regina. Or I shouldn't say don't like people in Regina. They just don't like Regina. Like, Regina is just kind of like of Saskatchewan.
I've never been there. I want to go to Saskatoon, though. It does look very
Beautiful.
exciting.
Yeah, I love Saskatoon. It's great. Great scene down there. Yeah, it's wonderful.
The whole like North Saskatchewan River, that area, beautiful. It goes all the way into the Rockies, which actually was the route for the train.
Yeah. Oh, you went all the way through there. Cool.
Yeah. Also the meals. I know we've talked about it before when we used to do the show. Remember that time?
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time
I
when we
do.
were doing it.
Yeah.
But the rack of lamb, the prime rib, the filet mignon, all the meals are fantastic. If you go Winnipeg to Toronto, though, they feed you tuna melts and pulled pork for 2 days, so it's better to go Winnipeg west to Vancouver or coming east Vancouver to Winnipeg. But
sounds like you were on the fancy train car.
I was enjoying a great experience in sleeper class. I had the lower berth. I usually go the upper berth. It's a little bit tighter. You get to I just like nestle myself into the netting so I don't fall out of the bed. And I just like spoon 3 pillows. I usually get the tenants to give me like 3 pillows. So I got 2 behind my head, like 2 behind my legs, or like between my legs, and then 1 to like spoon the bed. And I just rock myself to sleep.
I spent some time on a boat for about a week, sailing through the Exumas down in the Bahamas, and I loved like at night. It was just like being rocked to sleep at night. Is the train, because I've outside of just being on city trains and whatnot, I've never been on a long distance train. Is it the same kind of thing where it just kind of rocks you to sleep?
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Awesome.
It's very relaxing. It's honestly great. When I was sleeping in the economy cars, because you're sleeping in a chair, and me being as big as I am, I don't necessarily confine to the space of a chair. So I'd have like legs and like limbs leaning over into the aisle, and some of the managers in the middle of the night, they'd kick my legs. Get out of there. You can't have like your limbs in the middle of the night or out there in the middle of the night. But when you're sleeping in the berths, it's awesome. And I fit beautifully. I have about this much wiggle room on the end when I'm like fully extended out. So I give 2 glowing thumbs up to the berths on Via Rail.
That's awesome.
Cars.
I am going to do it one day.
We got to do it.
I'd love to. Yeah.
We might be doing it after I get a free trip coming up soon.
Oh, do tell.
So this is a first. I never thought I would tell this story. I was assaulted on a Via Rail train the other day.
What?
Okay. You ready for this one?
I am ready.
This one's spicy. So in the dining car, actually, of all places, I'm eating dinner with a gentleman in front of me, gentleman kind of where you'd be sitting, and then a guy beside me. Gentleman in front of me, we've been having a great conversation all day. Same thing with the gentleman to my right. Gentleman to where you would have been sitting. I never met him, never talked to him before. And we were having a good conversation over dinner. I was explaining that I'm going to be going to Denver next week, going to play for a senior team, which we'll get more into later. But I'm really excited for it. Never been there. And this gentleman inserted his opinion about altitude sickness, skiing, and just traveling advice. And if I'm to paint a picture for this guy, he was significantly overweight and didn't exactly establish himself as credible, to say the least.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to be nice, right? If you want to give me your opinion, okay, I'll listen. I'm not going to be a dink about it, but I'm also like, I've never been to Denver, I've never been skiing, never been in the high altitude, so none of your advice are really doing much for me. Again, you haven't established any credibility. And so the gentleman said, he accused me of being very dismissive and completely ignoring him. And I said, well, I'm not trying to be rude to you, but keep in mind, I haven't been there. The things that you're saying, I don't relate to. It doesn't really resonate with me. So I hope you don't take this offensively, but it just doesn't resonate with me. No offense. He'd also admitted before dinner that he crushed an entire bottle of wine to himself in his cabin, which may be playing a role in how lubricated he was.
So he was looking for conflict, maybe.
I think he might have been.
Okay.
I think he might have. Well, I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So we continue the conversation, the gentleman in front of me, and then about 30 seconds later, we're eating. It's quiet. Food's arrived. Great soup and salad, by the way. And as I'm eating, I noticed out of the corner of my eye, he had excused himself to the bathroom because the bathroom was the one this way. And I got this overwhelming energy the second he stood up of, I think he's going to hit me. But I thought to myself, people are paying $2,000 to $3,000 a ticket here. Why on earth, especially with the environment, like everybody here is very well put together. They're dressed kind of like me with a white blazer, and everybody's probably not looking for conflict on the train, especially in a fine dining dinner. We're about 10, 15 minutes outside of the Winnipeg arrival.
But your spidey senses are going off.
My senses are going off instantly that I think I'm about to be hit. But I convinced myself otherwise because I thought, there's no way this is going to happen on the train, of all places. If we were in the streets of Winnipeg, of course, get the old Winnipeg handshake outside Winnipeg Union Station. Makes sense. How you doing? Right in the heart. But this doesn't make any sense. And so he gets up and he kind of walks around the corner. And as he's about parallel with me, and keep in mind, my head's down and I'm putting food in my face, he sucker punches me in the side of the head, right here.
Come on.
And it took, I'm dead serious, swear on my mother's life. And it took me about a second to realize what he'd actually done. Because, again, I'm convincing myself there's no way this is happening on the train. Like, it just doesn't make sense in this environment to happen. And so about a second and a half later passes by, and it's registered, okay, this has happened.
Like, did it break your rhythm for eating? Like, did you bounce into the guy next to you? Like how hard of a hit was this?
He hit like a woman, so it didn't really hurt that bad. But
Ronda Rousey has got a pretty solid punch from what I hear.
But he hit, well, we don't want to disrespect Ronda Rousey. But,
right.
a second and a half goes by, and I realize, okay, this guy actually did hit me, because I remember I hear people in the dining gallery.
So now you're in shock.
I'm not in shock. I'm just confused. I can't believe this is happening because of all the this doesn't make any sense. I'm prepared outside of the train station to go into battle, but not on the train.
Right.
And so I turn around and I look, and the guy's hiding behind one of the VIA attendants already. And I'm in my mind, I'm battling. Okay, do I go beat the shit out of this guy who's significantly overweight and shorter than me, and I don't think he'd stand a chance, or do I take it and do I be the bigger man, not get kicked off the train, not get a lifetime ban, potentially get an assault charge? Like, these are the things that I'm weighing. Also, I want to do that Grand Railway Hotel series traveling across Canada this summer. So if I'm banned from the train, kind of hard to do that. And so I just decided in the moment, you know what? Not worth it. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to ruin whatever potential opportunities I have coming up. Just let it be. So goes on, train arrives, the VIA police come, the Winnipeg police come.
Because there was witnesses. Like, everyone saw it.
Everybody in the dining hall saw it. Even the VIA staff member, he was like right front row to see it. He grabbed him right away and was like, "Get out of here! You're not like leave." Right? So everybody comes and they ask, "Okay, do you want to press charges?" And I said, "You know what? Yes, I would. Like, this guy is totally in the wrong here, and you shouldn't be acting like that. Like you have real problems if you're acting like that." And so they said, "Okay, well, listen. Unfortunately, with the way Canada's going, if you want to press charges, we're going to write him a sheet of paper, and he's going to go off scot-free. Maybe he shows up to court, maybe he doesn't. If you don't press charges, we're going to throw him in the drunk tank tonight. It's looking not so good in the city of Winnipeg." And I said, "You know what? Throw him in the tank. Let's do that. Option number 2. So that was that. I was told by the manager that I'm probably going to get a nice compensation or a free trip from VIA out of it, which is great. Maybe you and I can go, Toronto to Vancouver on the house.
Hey.
Thanks, VIA.
All right.
Wouldn't that be great? But this is where it gets even spicier. This is all a true story. This is all a very true story. I actually have video of the guy at dinner, so I'll put the video on the video version of the show. He's the guy on the far right-hand side on the video. Now, the girl that I've been seeing in Vancouver, she's amazing. And I told her this story, and her being the woman is like, well, I got to investigate this. So
this is the corgi lady?
This is the corgi lady.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So she's punching all this information in the internet, guy's name. She comes back and she says, "This guy's wanted for murder in Colombia. You realize this?" And I'm like,
no.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. So apparently, the guy's name is Jesse Wiseman, and I'll do a comparison on the video. This is a real story. If you're on the audio version, stop and go to the video version of the show. But I'll put the video of the dude and a picture that I found of him online, and I guess he whacked some 20-year-old woman in Colombia, fled the country, and it would make sense why he's traveling on the train, because when you travel by train in Canada, you don't need identification or anything.
Whoa.
And I'm assuming he was on the run. And I remember the cops mentioning when they were interviewing me that he was on his way to Toronto onto the East Coast. And when I looked online, it said that he was from the East Coast, Nova Scotia or New Brunswick, whatever it was. So maybe it was a good thing I didn't hit him, because he would have had a blade or something on him.
Whoa, dude.
Crazy,
like,
right?
Wow. I'm shocked. Like, I'm in shock right now.
I know, right?
That's crazy. So hang on. So if he gets processed at the drunk tank, I mean, would there be a warrant out for him in Canada or only in Colombia? Like, is he wanted across with Interpol? Like, I have all the questions now.
So he's wanted in Colombia. I definitely found that out online, but I don't know if there's like a conversion between like the Colombians are like, hey, we want him extradited. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I talked to the police on the phone the next day. I gave them all the information, all the badge numbers, everything you name it, and they said, fantastic. We'll be in touch shortly. I haven't heard back yet.
Whoa.
So. Interesting. Shout out to my amazing woman in Vancouver.
Well, he definitely missed the train if he was in the drunk tank all night, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah. He was booted off the train. He had to find his own way wherever he's going, and he's banned from VIA moving forward.
So he's in Winnipeg.
He's somewhere.
Thanks for that.
Have fun, Dave.
Heads up, everybody. Keep your head on a swivel. Not that you don't have to already living in Winnipeg, but, keep an extra eye out. Just saying. Wow. That's a story and a half.
That's a true story.
Unbelievable.
Everything was going great up until that dinner. The dinner was great. Oh, this is another thing, too, because the guy was – so one of the VIA staff members came up and asked if I was okay after it. Keep in mind, we're having prime rib dinner. So Winnipeg to Edmonton, that is when you have prime rib dinner. And I said, I'm okay. I just want you to go let the gentleman know that I will be finishing his prime rib this evening. Because they gave me the portion. I always get the double meat portions. And he's a big boy, so he's getting a big portion. So they put the plate down, but he's already gone. And I crushed his whole meal.
No, you murdered his plate. Wow. Well, hey, listen. To the victor goes the spoils, I suppose.
I know, right?
Yeah,
I had his
for
dinner,
you.
too. Cheesecake. Key lime cheesecake.
Unbelievable. Well, that's the least they could do, right?
Hopefully get a free trip out of it.
Something.
Some compensation. You and I can do that. Wouldn't that be great?
I've always wanted to take a train across the country. I'm not going to lie to you. I prefer to do it with my wife, but I ain't going to look a horse in the mouth. I'm in.
What if we got 3 tickets?
I'm in.
Bring your wife with us.
Let's go.
Wouldn't that be great?
Dude, I've always wanted to do it. Like for me, I think the wife and I had always planned to do the Rocky Mountaineer because, I mean, that's the picturesque one that everyone wants, right? But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd love to see the country via rail. Talking to a lot of my buddies that work in the rail, because Winnipeg obviously is a heavy industry for rail. One of the things that they say is you get to see parts of the country that nobody else gets to see. Like it's still pure wilderness. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
I think that's the beauty of it. Everybody loves the Rocky Mountains. My favorite portion is the prairies because when you're humming down at 130 kilometers an hour, it's just barren. There's nothing. Just the train tracks, a couple bison in a field, a coyote, a fox. That's it. Mm-hmm. And it's just, this is exactly what was there 50 years ago, that was there 100 years ago, that's been there for the remainder of time, with the exception of these 2 train tracks.
Unbelievable.
It's incredible. It's so peaceful. It's so relaxing. And when you're up there on the dome car on top of the train, sipping a hot cup of joe, watching the world go by, it is my favorite. I honestly, I love your wife. She's a wonderful woman. I hope she doesn't come, and that way you and I can enjoy that experience together. I would love to share with her as well, but I hope that you and I get to share it because it's an amazing experience.
Well, I'll just say, honey, I'm going to do some recon just to make sure that that we do it right when you and I do it. So I'm going to go do it with Travis first. I'm sure she'll totally understand.
And hopefully there's no murderers in the train.
Yeah, what the heck?
But if there is, you know what you got to do? You gotta get a pair of underwear from the presenting sponsor of the show, Sheath Underwear.
I never leave home without mine.
And you haven't since we stopped doing a show together.
Sure haven't.
Well, here's the deal. When it comes to Sheath Underwear, they have this incredible dual pouch technology. It's a segregated compartment for your dick and your balls so they don't stick to the side of your leg. So when you get punched in the head at dinner, you're not going to be sweating. You're going to be fluid and moving. So you can take care of the criminals to the perpetrator, perpetrator, whatever the word is. But you're going to go to sheathunderwear.com on the video version of the show. Click that first link in the description or in the Apple, Spotify podcast notes. The code BIZKIT69, BIZKIT 69 will get you 20% off of the greatest underwear money has and ever will buy, only from the team at Sheath.
Love it.
Them for sponsoring the show as always.
Thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, since day one.
Yeah.
I was talking to Robert about that the other day. Just a little bit of a business note. Sheath has been with the show since day one. Obviously, the network deal has come in. Mm-hmm. New sponsors are coming in.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I miss you very much, but it's been.
Well, it's not like we don't talk. We just don't do this anymore. And you got Rob. I mean, he's fantastic. I love I would prefer to see Rob on the screen than me. Let's be honest. He's a handsome devil.
I will say my new co-host is better looking than my old co-host.
He certainly is.
I think it's also provided an amazing opportunity because now I've relied on you for the last year and a half of doing shows together where like you drive the ship and I'm just kind of here along for the ride, although it is my story and it is, I guess, my podcast, but you've really, really helped that. Now that you've gone, I've kind of taken on that role and had to work on my speaking, my vocabulary, how do I flow the show, how do I drive the show, and teaching Rob some things. And honestly, it's been a lot of adversity, but a lot of growth in that process as well.
I was like Qui-Gon to your Obi-Wan, and now you're Obi-Wan to Anakin. Just make sure Rob doesn't end up becoming Darth Vader. Okay?
He starts his own podcast.
Yeah, he might. Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, great opportunity to let everyone know.
Let me ask you this. What are you doing, Mr. Wheeler? What are you doing these days?
Listen, I still have the regular morning show. I still have the Wheeler After Dark podcast, which is exclusively on Patreon for paid subscribers because it's a little spicy. Yeah, some of the content's a little spicy. But I am launching a new... it's not a podcast. It's not audio. It's only video. It'll be on YouTube, and it's called Still Here. It's the Still Here show. I guess we'll call it a podcast for. It's a reaction video, and so my producer Mac McKinley, good Scotsman, he sends me videos that I've never seen before, and I react to them and offer some commentary and some comedy, and I dress nice and I wear a tie, and it's pretty good. And you can go subscribe to my YouTube channel at WheelerJ28. WHEELERJ28. I'll do that in military code if you want. Whiskey, Hotel, Echo, Echo, Lima, Echo, Romeo, Juliet, 28 is my YouTube channel. So go subscribe to that. I need like 10 more subscribers to hit the YouTube AdSense threshold, and then it's dollar bills, y'all. So there should be episodes up hopefully before the end of March.
Yeah, Dave's not on the show, but let's support his new endeavors.
Please.
Give him those extra 10 subs.
Yeah, sign up. Subscribe if you can. And I went back and wiped everything that was there before, so it'll be exclusively those episodes. And they're anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, so nice, easy watch. And, yeah, just viral videos that are going out and whatnot.
I can picture you reacting to the new version of the podcast. God, this show sucks.
Listen, I watch faithfully every Sunday. Like I said, I send you notes after I watch the show and say I like this. I thought this was bad. Rob looks handsome. I do all the stuff. So I'm not in the chat box anymore. But other than that, I think the show's great. I think it's fantastic. I love the new aesthetics. That new studio looks fantastic. I think Rob has got a really good setup, and yeah, you guys are killing it.
So we didn't have a falling out?
Who? You and me?
Yeah.
No. What? Like, is that what people think?
Yeah, it seems like that in the comment section.
Not at all. No, not at all. There was no fallout whatsoever. If you want the real goods on it, our whole goal, and you even talked about this on the pod. The goal was when you and I sat down. I said, "What do you want to do?" And you said, "I want to get a phone call from a network where we get picked up and we do the show moving forward." I said, "Okay, then let's work towards that goal." Year and a half later, we get that phone call. We were happy to do it. Because of some of the things that I've said on my radio show in past years, the Nation Network wasn't comfortable having my brand of comedy. It's kind of like the whole Shane Gillis situation, who was just on Saturday Night Live a little while ago. He got hired by Saturday Night Live and then did some comedy that they weren't a fan of. It was a little controversial, and so they fired him right away and then brought him back to host this past couple weeks ago. And I feel like I'm kind of in the same situation with this one, but it's, and that's totally fine. I am not going to sit there and tell somebody else how to run their business. That is totally up to them. Mm-hmm. And they didn't feel like I was going to be a good fit. And I'm okay with that. I mean, I love doing the show with you. I really did. It doesn't mean that my life is over and but how am I going to feed my kids? No, this was
so you haven't been here just waiting in this room since I've left?
Yeah, that's it. I've just been sitting here going, when's he coming back? I've been waiting for him. I've got my regular 9 to 5, or not my 9 to 5, but my 6 to 10 morning show that I do. My wife and I have a podcast company with, other projects. I'm always going to stay busy. It's just, it freed up room for me to do some other things that I've had on the back burner. I'm actually working on my book that I'm finally started writing. It's called Doggone Crazy, and I'm hoping to have it done by the end of the year. So, yeah, I love doing the show, but I wasn't going to sit here and pout and hold you back from a goal that you wanted to do. I just kind of went, all right, cool, I'll move on to the next project. And like I said, you and I are still in contact on a bi-weekly basis.
Well, I think it's a testament to our friendship as well, because I don't know if I actually ever explained the full story of how we became into contact, because I'd listened to your morning show for years, right? Like I literally remember my mom driving me to school in grade 9, grade 10 to Dakota Collegiate here in St. Vital in Winnipeg, and Wheeler in the Morning was on every single day when she'd drive me up at school. So this is 15 years ago plus.
I'm that old, ladies and gentlemen.
He's not 26 ripped and chiseled.
That old.
Not anymore. And he's missing an eye still. But anyway, that's a different story for a different day. But I'd been listening to your morning show in podcast format when I was in Sweden, because it was always fantastic to just listen to it on the bus ride to the rink, to the train ride, or whenever I was driving. I was always listening, and I remember you gave me a shout out one day on the show, and then I was like, hey, that's me. That's awesome. I sent you an email, and then we just kind of went back and forth. And then when Pat Shea and I split, I just said, hey, do you mind helping me out? I don't know what to do. You're like, sure. I want to talk about hockey. I can't really do it the way that I want to on my current morning show. Boom, let's do it. And it flourished right away. People took a liking to it. You really carried a lot of the mail, if I'm being honest, looking back. Now that I've looked back at a lot of old episodes and thought, okay, how can I improve how I am on the show? But that carried on for a year and a half, 60 episodes. We didn't get to episode 69, which I really wanted to do. I've never gotten to episode 69 with any co-host. So I'm hoping that Rob and I can get to 69 episodes at some point. But that's not really the point of this conversation. But the network deal comes in, and I was very loyal with you. I said, you have made this show. I am loyal to you. I'm indebted to you. We're going to move forward together with or without a network deal. And when the deal came in without you, you said, I think you need to take this deal.
Yeah. Listen, you had a goal. We got to that goal. And for you to say, no, I don't want that goal anymore, to me, it seemed asinine. It's like, well, but this is what we were working towards. Like this is it. Here it is. And like I said earlier in the show, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, regardless if it's with me or not. Do it with somebody else, and you got to achieve that goal. You should be very prideful about that. I'm proud of you for doing that. Well, and I've always been very complimentary about you and the fact that you took a hockey career that everyone told you that you wouldn't be able to do and spun it into a career. Everything's like the reason why I mentioned you on the show, on my radio show, was that I was following your vlog. I thought it was very entertaining. I'm like, hey, this is great. And then for you to go ahead and spin it off and do a podcast, I just thought, man, that's a hard-working dude. And so I was more than happy to help with it. And like I said, when it was quote unquote over, I was okay with that too, because to me, I just felt really happy that I was able to be part of the process of championing you to that goal that you wanted to achieve. So I'm proud as punch, man. The fact that we got there within a year and a half is awesome.
And we had that other network deal that fell through as well. like months previous to it.
Yeah, what was that? The gas
Gas Digital.
Yeah, Gas Digital. Yeah, they were poking around a little bit too. So we knew we were on the cusp. Like we knew we were close. It was just a matter of being patient and kept doing the things that we were doing. And you always did a great job of making sure that there were shorts being cut and stuff going on social media, which I don't do. And just kept going along and knew eventually that phone call would come. So to say no to it, to me, was crazy.
Yeah, and also too, like for those that don't necessarily maybe understand why the Never deal was such a big deal, literally the podcast started out of my apartment in the middle of COVID. So it was just like a Zoom call, crappy audio, crappy video, and then it evolved to now with the good cameras, good audio, good setup, that type of stuff. But that kind of only goes so far. Now where I have my producer in Vancouver where he's helping me really refine the audio because the podcast can be great with good video, but if the audio isn't tight and crisp, nobody's going to watch. Help me with the branding. So like the TV's behind us. So whenever you're seeing the clips, I don't have to tell you what show it is. You know what show it is. Just have our liaison in Edmonton and Calgary or Edmonton and Toronto to provide feedback to help bring the show to the next level. And then obviously the advertising, the sales team, having those resources really help bring this, I guess, mom and pop show to life, truly to life, was really important because I knew I could only take it so far when you're competing with the bar stools and the action park media. It's like you're having a team. I'm just one man or two men doing a show compared to a team of like 20, 30, 50 people. So that was why that was so important. And then Dave putting aside his ego and saying, just take the deal. Like, this is good for you. And to quote you, I might be paraphrasing, of course. I think you said, you like adversity and you like growth, go do the show without me. Right? This is going to be an amazing period of growth.
Yeah.
And it has been. It's been very stressful, right? The learning curve of working with a network they're not corporate by any means, but it's definitely a lot more corporate than you and I just coming in here, walking in from Starbucks. All right, let's record a podcast. Right? Like there's actual targets to hit and there's goals to hit and there's numbers to hit and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, it's no different than the transition that you made from minor hockey to junior hockey to college hockey to professional hockey. And it was really, from what I've gathered over the past couple of years, your biggest learning about the industry as far as like, I mean, every kid's like, I want to play in the NHL, it'd be awesome. And I witnessed a lot of that this past weekend. I'll tell you about that in a few minutes. But you literally got, and we all got to watch in real time, you go through this lesson of what professional hockey is really like, especially in some of the lower rungs of professional hockey, and learning in real time. And this is no different. I mean, it's so fun. I want to do a podcast and I want to be like Mr. Beast. Sure, everyone does. But when you actually get to a level where there's like, all right, now there's a team behind you. And like you said, there's expectations, there's goals, there's a certain amount of eyeballs that need to be on this stuff. And that's all great. This is all learning in real time once again.
And I think looking back at even the beginning of the show, for the show to get to where it is now, there had to be some really dog shit episodes, some really bad conversations, some bad vocabulary, some mistakes, some things that didn't flow, that did flow, and then going through those mistakes. And obviously, like the listeners, like the viewers of the show that have been since day one, that really is the traction that's led the show to be as successful as it has been.
Listen, it's no different than any good comedian has always bombed on stage. Like, listen, not every hockey player has a 10-point night every single night like some guys have. It's part of the growing pains of doing anything. I mean, no marriage is perfect. No parenting scenario is perfect, but you do your best and you learn as you go along. And I think I don't think you had to have those episodes, but it's good that you had them. It's absolutely good that you had them because sometimes you have to do trial by fire. You know, you really got to go in and say, okay, we're doing this, commit to it, and make mistakes along the way because those are the ones that are going to make you better. And it's not a mistake if you learn from it.
And speaking of mistakes, speaking of learning, this is a great transitioning point for the second sponsor of the show. Now, this portion of the podcast is sponsored from the team at BetterHelp. Now, BetterHelp is an online therapy resource. They're a new sponsor for the show, by the way. And I've been using BetterHelp for about 7 to 8 months now, and it's incredible. They make therapy accessible and affordable in a way that's never been done before. It's as simple as going online, signing up. You can use your phone, iPad, laptop, any mobile device, and you get hooked up with a survey. It's going to ask you a bunch of questions, find out about your unique circumstances and scenario. Give them a couple days. They're going to pair you with a unique therapist that's custom to your specific situation. And you just hop online, 30, 45, an hour session, whatever you're looking for. They do group sessions. They do individual sessions. It can really help to unwind some of, at least for myself personally, a lot of those inner childhood wounds, those inner childhood traumas to try to make the best version of yourself. And whatever mistakes maybe be going on in your life, your marriage doesn't have to be falling apart. Your life doesn't have to be in shambles to get a little bit of help. I think we can all use a little bit of help. And right now, if you're on the video version of the show, you go to the link in the description, click on that betterhelp.com/biscuit. It's going to get you 10% off your first month of therapy, or use the code BISCUIT. Apple, Spotify, same thing. Pull over and save to do so in the car. And your gym set, podcast and notes, betterhelp.com/biscuit. And again, thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring the show.
I love it. I think it's great. Listen, there's a reason why hockey players still practice. You got to do the same thing with your brain.
Well, just because the Vegas Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup doesn't mean they stop drafting prospects.
Exactly.
We're always looking to improve.
Yeah.
Speaking of prospects, I know you wanted to talk about Jaromir Jagr.
Oh, my God. What a beauty. What a beauty. If you haven't seen this clip of Jagr, was he getting his number retired? Is that what it was?
I think Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor. That's what it was. Yeah. And he talks about it, goes, my girlfriend, do we have the clip? Do we just want to run the clip? Because it's awesome.
Let's run the clip.
I want to say thanks to Dominica, my girlfriend. She's too young to remember I played in Pittsburgh, but I told her all the stories, so don't worry about it.
God love him. I love the fact that he takes a piss out of himself that way, and thank goodness she has a great sense of humor. Or maybe she doesn't speak English. I don't know which it is, but she just kind of like, you could tell she kind of went, okay, that's fine, yeah. And I think it's awesome because I think he sees how the rest of the world views him as like this guy who's dating younger women, very much like the Leo DiCaprio situation. He's like, whatever. Might as well have some fun with it. I think it's genius. I love it.
As awesome as that is, I think the story of the Instagram model that was threatening to blackmail him a couple years ago was even better.
Yeah, he's like, go for it. Yeah, upload it.
Well, hold on. To tell a story, so basically Jaromir Jagr is like Leonardo DiCaprio. He only sleeps and dates with women that are 25 and under, very young women. And he's sleeping with this one model, and I guess he's passed out asleep. He's got a sleep mask on. She's taking selfies and is like, ooh, I'm going to post these on Twitter. And if you don't pay me X amount of dollars, I'm going to post them, let everybody know that you sleep with models. And he's like, go for it.
Yeah.
She does. Her boyfriend gasses her. The whole internet's calling her a hoe, and Jaromir Jagr looks like a legend.
Oh, go for it. I mean, he's never been married, doesn't have kids. He's not doing wrong by anybody. Yeah, upload away. That's fine.
We appreciate the fact at the end of his Ring of Honor ceremony speech, he said, but don't worry, I let her know about all the stories.
Oh, man.
You know what that reminds me of?
God love
I don't know if
Jagr.
I ever told this story. In Motor City, and I want to be very careful with my wording so I don't get myself in trouble. When we travel on the road, guys would bring a couple ladies back to the hotel room, and it got to a point where I remember somebody within the team saying, guys, we can't be bringing girls back to the room or to the hotel anymore. So what do you think they started doing? They started going into the parking lot in the girls' car. So if you walked out of the Delaware Holiday Inn at 3 a.m, there's like 4 cars in the parking lot. And if the trailer's rocking, don't come knocking.
Listen, you find a loophole, you exploit it, I suppose.
Like, what is going on in this league?
Wow. Speaking of road trips, so my wife, God love her, her and I have both been working extremely hard lately, and she's like, you know what? I know we don't have the time nor the money to go on a big, expensive holiday, for winter, going down to Mexico or something cool like that. So she goes, pack up. We're going to Fargo this weekend. Fargo, North Dakota.
For old time's sake, can I throw some photos of your wife on the video version of the show?
Sure,
Just for
yeah.
old time's sake, yeah.
Absolutely.
Beautiful former Playboy bunny, Miss Candace Ray.
Yeah, so she says, pack up the kids, let's go. We're going down to Fargo. And I said, this is not what I meant when I said Moarhead, right? Because it's Fargo, Moarhead. Anyways, so we go all the way down to Fargo.
It took a second. Story of my career. Over and under.
It's 10 past Richmond.
12, actually.
We head down to Fargo, North Dakota, and I really know no details. Like, she had put it all together very, very quickly. And she goes, I had a hard time finding a hotel because everything's sold out this weekend. So we stayed at La Quinta Hotel, which is somewhere in Fargo. Like, I was just given the directions and away we went. And the reason why it was so hard to book a hotel room is because there was a
Taylor Swift concert.
Minor hockey tournament in town. And man, did it bring back memories, because we decided to go down to the pool, and it's just 10 to 12-year-olds just all over the place, all over the water slide, all over, like, everywhere. And they're running up and down hallways, and parents are visiting room and getting smashed together. And I thought, man, oh man, I miss those days. Like, nothing has changed when it comes to that kind of culture, and parents traveling with kids and going to tournaments and the next town over. And it brought back so many memories. And I was smiling the whole time watching these kids run around and full of chaos and bags everywhere, and the whole place smelling like hockey gear. It was great. It was awesome.
Any parent fights in the hotel lobby?
No one got punched in the side of the head or anything. No, it was I don't know, it was just weird. It was just really neat. And it was funny. You're in the elevator or something. They're like, are you here for the hockey? I'm like, hell no, but I'm enjoying it. This is great. Yeah, it brought back memories of me traveling around as a young kid and then playing minor hockey and doing tournaments in Edmonton and Calgary and North Battleford and places like that. So, yeah, it put a smile on my face to see that culture really hasn't changed at all.
That's awesome. Also, I want to give a quick shout out. I got some notes in here. I want to give a shout out to John. He's a cop in Ontario. He works in Peel Region. He listens to the show while he's on duty. It reminds me of, in Mr. Incredible? When Mr. Incredible and Frozone are sitting in the car. They're like, oh, building's on fire. You want to go do a burning building? You know what, Bob? I wouldn't mind actually going bowling. No, come on. Why don't we do what our wives actually think we're doing? You know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, of course. The Incredibles. Yeah, it's fantastic.
What an amazing movie. Number 2 was a little bit disappointing, but number 1 was amazing.
Yeah, I thought they were both great.
All the original Disney movies, the Shreks, the Incredibles, the Toy Stories, those will never be touched.
They've aged well, man.
So good.
And I understand. I think if my Rolodex brain is working well, I think we're getting a new Incredibles movie.
Number 3?
Yeah.
Or 1.5?
No, I'm pretty sure they're putting another one in. And Samuel Jackson will be making his comeback as Frozone.
Honey, where is my super suit? Why? I need it! The world's in danger! My marriage is in danger! We're talking about the greatest good! I am the greatest good you ain't ever gonna see!
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a wonderful Samuel L. Jackson impression done by our very own Travis Ridgen. That wasn't actually Samuel L. Jackson for those that are on the audio version. He is not in studio.
He's in the studio next door. Yeah. with our fearless emperor as well. He was in studio the other day.
I wish he was. Man, he's awesome. I was actually watching when we were in the hotel and we were watching some old MCU movies, and he's as Nick Fury. He's great. By the way, I know you're not a huge Marvel Cinematic Universe fan, but please tell me you've seen the new Deadpool Wolverine trailer.
I heard it. I heard it on your podcast.
Oh my God, is it awesome? It is awesome. And I mean, listen, you live in the same city as Van City Reynolds. I called you Van City Ridgen when you walked into the studio today.
I did not pick again over my head.
Yeah,
story of my career.
You gotta support your boy, and you gotta go see this movie when it comes out.
This is kind of random. You know what I realized about Vancouver the other day? Vancouver is the most expensive place to live in all of Canada. We're talking average one bedrooms for $3,000 a month plus. Mm-hmm. If you walk on the seawall on a Monday or Tuesday morning around like 10, 11 a.m., everybody's out there drinking their green smoothies. And the only thing that came to my mind was, does nobody work here? Like, does nobody work? Don't you have somewhere to be?
Yeah, they're all .comers. They all work from their phones.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. That would explain why they're all on their phones drinking their green smoothies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the whole West Coast, man, it's just think tech, and everyone works from their phones. Yeah.
Huh. You got to come see me in Vancouver, by the way.
I love Van. Last time I was in Vancouver, I can't even remember the last time. It's been a minute. But yeah, I've had great times in Vancouver. The Commodore Ballroom is one of my favorite venues to go see a concert. I've seen Queens of the Stone Age play there. I've seen 3 Inches of Blood play there. I've seen a handful of shows. Matthew Good I saw play there. Holly McNarland I saw play there. Yeah, man, that's a great venue. The whole bar district. I'm trying to think of the Gastown.
Gastown, yep.
I heard they tore down the statue of Gassy Jack, which sucks. But yeah, I just love that whole area, man. Kitsilano Beach, just a great area. I love it there.
Steam Clock too.
Yeah, man. The one thing that I will say that I'm not a big fan of in Vancouver is the Lionsgate Bridge. When that thing shuts down, the entire city shuts down, and I don't like being on the wrong side of it.
I don't understand why it's so narrow. Like you need more bridge, more lanes on the bridge.
Well, yeah, obviously, but I mean, they weren't expecting that volume of traffic when they built it 100 years ago.
It's true. They got the Ironworkers Memorial Bridge, and then the.
I actually played in a hockey tournament out in Coquitlam, BC, once upon a time. Memories are flooding back now with all this talk of minor hockey tournaments. Yeah, Coquitlam's great. I love that whole area. Good friend of mine's from Port Moody. Doug Brown is from there. Actually, our afternoon drive guy, Mike DeGami, is from Port Moody.
Doug Brown, like Winnipeg Blue Bombers legend?
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you the story of Doug Brown when I was working out with him?
Yeah, when you guys were working out at Elite together.
And the exercise ball exploded.
Yeah.
Just to retell that story, Doug Brown, 6'7", 300?
6'7", 6'8", yeah.
6'8", 300 and something pound, maybe 350, 340, whatever. Massive guy. D-line or O-line?
He was a defensive end, yeah. He loved sacking quarterbacks.
So defensive end, and I'm working out with him. I'm 16 years old. We're talking 6'5", 160 some odd pounds, Ridgen versus Doug. I was going to say Doug the Thug, Doug Brown.
Doug Brown, yeah.
And we're both on exercise balls, and Doug's doing crunches. And I remember just hearing this like bang, and I looked to my right, and there's Doug on the ground, and the ball exploded. He looked down at the ball. He looked up. He looked at me, and he said, "It's God's sign to tell me I'm getting too fat, and it's time to retire." and he picked up the ball, he walked out, and that was the last time I ever saw Doug Brown. Never saw him again after that.
You know what? I'll tell you a quick story about Doug Brown. While he was playing with the Bombers, he did a radio show on our AM station, the Spin Zone, and he actually, not too dissimilar to you, said, like, hey, listen, I know football, but I needed a little help with the ins and outs. Would you be my co-host on the show? And I said, absolutely. And so every week I'd go in and we'd co-host the show together, and he knew what he was doing because he knew that after football was done, every single professional athlete wants to go and get up into the booth and do color or be on the panel or do all that kind of stuff. And he said, I'm going to start doing my schooling for that now. And sure enough, a couple years after retirement, he is now the color commentary for all of the home broadcasts on CJOB 68, the superstation here in Winnipeg. And God love him. Like, he knew what he was doing. I think he also sells professional medical equipment on the side. But yeah, he made sure that he had his ducks in a row for when retirement happened. I give him a lot of credit.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Not quite like my retirement, still.
Well, listen, I saw the thumbnail on last week's episode, or a couple episodes ago, so...
My agent told me shut up. Also,
Okay.
there was... I guess I'm going to title this episode Wheeler Returns, so I guess it's not going to be too juicy as far as like FPHL stuff. There was an FPHL team that did reach out and say, depending on my performance next weekend in Colorado, you might be coming in for the last 4 to 5 weeks of the season.
Interesting.
Put up a good performance, and you'll be down shortly.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Is it a team you've already been with?
No.
Okay. Just curious. Just trying to narrow it down a little bit. That's all.
Yeah, I guess that does help narrow it down a bit because I've played with so many teams, half the league.
Okay.
12 Past. By the way, the 12 Past Ridgen mugs and merchandise is still available for the patrons on the house. Otherwise, you can just pay for a regular price. But I was going to say as well, after obviously I get my free trip so that you and I can go Toronto to Vancouver on the train, we can stay at one of the Grand Railway hotels.
Love to. Listen, have you uploaded any of those yet?
No.
Okay. So Travis has been really good about sending me these just to kind of get a little bit of feedback. Get ready. Like, these things are really cool, especially if you're a history buff. Awesome. They're really cool. I'm really excited for people to see this stuff.
Actually, so I was going to do a trip to Banff Lake Louise next month. The weather's going to be too warm to go skating. So I have like a non-refundable booking at the Palace or hotel, and then I have a hookup at the Chateau Lake Louise. So I decided I'm going to start doing a little bit of earlier work on the railway hotels thing. I mean, it's going to be cheaper to go in the spring than the summer anyway. And then also my girl that I've been seeing in Vancouver, she's amazing. I was like, I'm going to surprise her. I'm going to tell her that we're going to do a little trip, like 3 or 4 days. We're going to bring the little Korg, and his little stumpers can go through a little run on the Rocky Mountains. Actually, the dog is from Airdrie, Alberta, imported from Calgary to Vancouver. She has really never seen anything outside of Vancouver in Canada before. So the dog's seen more of Canada than she has. So I called her, I FaceTimed her the other day. I was like, hey, we're going to do a trip. We're going to go to spend a night in Calgary at the Palace or Hotel, beautiful hotel. We're going to go stay at the Chateau Lake Louise for probably 2 nights, and then maybe the Jasper Park Lodge as well for one. And her face just lit up. She's like, I don't know what this is. I've never been there, but this sounds really nice, and I'm excited.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
You can see it in his face, ladies and gentlemen. You can see it. He talks better and he smiles. That's a really good sign. I'm just saying. It's been fun, man. Thanks for having me back for another show. This has been a lot of fun.
We do have one quick ad break to take before we
Let's
wrap
do
up,
it.
though. The team at Manscaped.com, the third sponsor for the show. The team at Manscaped, they have the incredible Beard Hedger, but they also have the new Lawnmower 5. Now, here's the deal. The Lawnmower 5 gives you the power to trim, shave, and sculpt your pubes to your liking. It's got 1 fixed, 2 adjustable length combs, attachments, USB-C charging, 6 minutes of battery life, and it's waterproof as well. Now, the Beard Hedger for trimming, fading, and tapering your beard just like mine. Same thing, 20 lengths from 0.5 millimeters to 10 millimeters. It also has a 60-minute battery life, and it's waterproof as well. And you can get the whole collection of products from Manscaped.com. Use the code BIZKIT, B-I-Z-K-I-T. You're going to get 20% off and free shipping only from the team at Manscaped.com. Thanks for sponsoring the show.
By the way, I want to talk about your Denver trip here real quick. I know most of the details, but there you go. If you're watching the video version, there it is.
Yeehaw!
Denver, Colorado is one of my favorite cities in North America. It's like Calgary, but I don't want to say Calgary on steroids, but it's like an American version of Calgary, okay?
How so?
Calgary is like, it's Cowtown, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got a lot of, you got the Stampede there. There's a lot of cowboy boots. There's a lot of cowboy hats. Denver is just like an American version of that. It is so much, like, honestly, man, Denver is so much fun. It's one of my favorite cities, and I've only been there once. I don't know why I haven't gone back, but get ready for a good time. Like, those boys that are getting you out there, show him a good time. Show him a Denver time, because when I went down there, I was showing a very good Denver time. So saddle up, partner. You're in for a good one.
Well, to the folks of Vail, Colorado, Breckenridge, and Denver, the sheriff's in town, as you can see in the video version of the show. But so I'm going to be playing for the Vail Yeti senior hockey team. It's Senior A Pro Hockey in the Mountain Hockey League. We're playing the Breckenridge Vipers on March 1st in Breckenridge, and then that's the Friday, by the way, and then Saturday, March 2nd, at home in Vail. So there'll be some more details coming up, which you'll see, obviously, the full-length podcast talking about is coming up next week, and then the full vlog, because we're going to be doing a whole mic'd up series, as well as the travel vlog, Winnipeg to Vancouver to Denver, and then the whole skiing, the traveling down, all that stuff. So I'm really excited for the whole trip.
I'm excited for you, man.
And I got this hat. I got this hat just specifically for the trip. The white blazer, which I took off because I'm getting a little bit too hot in here. But what do you think of the whole getup?
Listen, man, you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. You're gonna look like Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox, in Back to the Future when Doc sends him back to 1885. You're gonna show up there and they're gonna be like, "What the hell is he wearing?" But it's okay. It's okay. They will get you turned right by the time you leave.
Well, bless your heart, all the way down from Biloxi, Mississippi. Bless your heart, David. It's back.
Honestly, man, I love the hat. I think you're going to be walking with spurs on the back of your sneakers by the time you're done in Denver.
There ain't no spurs. Maybe I can get like a modification to get it like on the end of my boots.
Mm-hmm. Well, it'd be a lot safer, especially if you have to take the train again, in case some murderer tries to take a crack at you.
Put a spur in his face. Throw the boots.
I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to that video. When is all that going to be up? Is that going to be more on the vlog?
Yeah, so the vlog's basically, it's kind of going dead for the next little bit, but it's going to be essentially the behind the scenes for the podcast, the business inner workings, and then the Colorado trip. So you'll see a mic'd up hockey in Colorado video coming up probably the next 2 to 3 weeks. You'll see the whole vlog of I went to Colorado, I went to Denver, and that's covering a bunch of other travel, Edmonton to Vancouver here on the train, and just a whole bunch of stuff because my life's been very travel focused and very busy the last little bit. Mm-hmm. And then the podcast will continue as usual. The vlogs, again, it's going to be quieter the next little bit because I've been putting all my efforts and my energy into the show with clips and business meetings and whatnot. Business meetings. All that stuff. Basically where we get shit on by our liaison and I say, all right, thank you. We're going to fix some stuff for next week. Fix the audio. Plug Rob's mic in. Oh, damn it. We didn't plug the mic in this week. Damn it all.
It's like being in a professional locker room again, right? There's always someone to answer to.
Well, there's feedback. Mm-hmm. And that's the beauty of it. Adversity, big character growth. And although I don't have you anymore, this is a one-off. Dave was my interview for the week. Actually, I didn't even explain this. Rob is traveling right now. Rob went from Puerto Rico to Florida on his way to Buffalo tonight, and then he's doing some more traveling.
Yeah, because that's the way you get to Buffalo.
Last-minute tickets and whatnot, but he's got some stuff going on where we couldn't actually link up to do the show for this week, and I thought, well, I can't let the listeners of the show down and have no episodes, so I am in the city of Winnipeg. Why not have the greatest co-host in the city of Winnipeg, the greatest network producer, the greatest radio host, one of my best friends in the city of Winnipeg on the show for this week?
Well, I'm happy to fill in, and I know Rob is missed, and people will look forward to having him back next week, but it was my absolute pleasure to come back on and sit in front of a microphone with you.
I did want to mention 2 quick notes before we wrap up the show here. I got a text the other day. My good friend, Matt Murray, texted me and said, I would like to do a podcast with you at the end of the season. Let's plan it out. Let's get it done. And I thought, okay, interesting. I have some notes that I've been sitting on for about a year, just like different things that pop up in the media or like conversations from like our dinner or our hangout this summer. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna start working on some stuff. But if you're listening, well, obviously you're listening to the show, let me know in the comment section, what would you like to ask Matt Murray? I'll sort through some comments and put it in the notes and the programming. And also for the podcast in general, moving forward between Rob and I, what would you like to see us talk about? What would you like to hear? What do you like? What do you not like? Constructive, critical feedback, love it. Negative,
I got a question.
Yes.
I want to know what his middle name is because I want to know what the acronym of his name would spell. Is it mum or is it mom? Is it ma'am?
Oh, man.
Is it mim? I'm curious to know what is his middle name?
I think it's James.
Nah, it doesn't work.
I think MJM. Yeah. I was like MGM.
I was kind of hoping to start with a vowel. Would have been way cooler.
Mom, mim, meme.
Like his name is Orville or something.
Matt Orville Murray.
Yeah.
Shout out Orville Redenbacher. That was
more comedy like that on the Still Here podcast, which you can subscribe to by going to my YouTube page, Wheeler J28.
Yes. On behalf of myself, Travis Ridgen, your favorite unemployed FPHL goaltender, and my amazing guest for this week's episode, David J. Wheeler. He has the top morning show in the city of Winnipeg, has for over 20 plus years. I'm out of breath here because I've been doing this intro a couple times, but I haven't done it in a while. We do new episodes of the show every single Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 in the great prairies of Winnipeg, the plains of Saskatchewan as well, in the Bow Valley and the foothills of Calgary at 9 a.m., and 8 a.m. in the Pacific Northwest in Vancouver, British Columbia. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Dave won't, but I will.
I will see you.